All right, let's talk about how your brain actually works. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the science of learning. We're going to explore the hidden psychological rules that shape pretty much everything about you: your habits, your fears, even your skills. And a lot of the time, you don't even realize it's happening. I mean, really think about it for a second. Have you ever wondered why a specific smell can instantly transport you back to your childhood? Or why you get that sudden urge for popcorn the second you walk into a movie theater? These little quirks, they aren't just random. They are learned behaviors, often picked up without you ever consciously trying. Nope, it's not magic at all. It's psychology. There are these invisible rules that are basically running in the background, governing how we learn just about everything. And our mission today is to make those invisible rules visible. We're going to break it all down. So let's dive in. Okay, first up, let's talk about a type of learning that's completely automatic. This is the stuff that happens without any conscious effort from you. It's called classical conditioning, and it's happening all the time. This whole idea really comes from a guy named Ivan Pavlov. He figured out something profound. Our brains are basically connection-making machines. They're constantly pairing something that initially means nothing with something that means a whole lot. So here's the classic recipe, right? In step one, before anything happens, the setup is simple. A dog sees food, it drools. You ring a bell, nothing happens. The bell is totally neutral. Then comes step two, the conditioning part. You ring the bell right before you give the dog the food. And you do this over and over and over again. The dog's brain starts to link the two. And then, bam, step three. After a while, the dog starts salivating at just the sound of the bell. The bell alone now triggers the response. The bell basically became a stand-in for the food. And this isn't just about dogs and bells. Think about that movie theater example. The theater is the bell. The popcorn is the food. Your brain has connected the dots so perfectly that you start wanting the popcorn before you've even seen or smelled it. It's powerful, and it's totally involuntary. Okay, moving on. Not all learning is that automatic. A huge chunk of our behavior, probably most of it, is shaped by what happens after we do something. In other words, we learn from the consequences. And this is where the famous psychologist B.F. Skinner comes into the picture. The big idea behind operant conditioning is actually super simple. If you do something and something good happens, you're way more likely to do it again. If you do something and something bad happens, well, you're probably not going to do that again. It's all about how rewards and punishments steer our choices. Now, this chart right here clears up a ton of confusion. In psychology, positive and negative don't mean good and bad. Just forget that. Positive means you add something, negative means you take something away. So positive reinforcement, that increases a behavior by adding something good, like getting a compliment for a job well done. But check this out. Negative reinforcement also increases a behavior, but it does it by taking away something bad. Think about the annoying beeping in your car. It stops when you buckle your seatbelt. The act of buckling up is reinforced because it removed the annoying sound. So when you really boil it down, your habits are just chains of behaviors that got reinforced one way or another in the past. Why do you mindlessly scroll through your phone? Because in the past, that behavior was rewarded with a funny video or an interesting post. It's a web of habits, all built on consequences. But hey, we don't have to experience every single consequence ourselves to learn, right? That would be exhausting. We're social animals, and we've got a fantastic shortcut. We just watch other people. And this brings us to Albert Bandura and his whole idea of observational learning. He showed that we learn a ton about how the world works just by watching others. We see someone do something and get a great result, and we think, I should try that. We see them do something and get a terrible result, and we think, note to self, don't do that. We learn from their consequences. But it's not as simple as just seeing something. Bandura figured out there are 4 essential ingredients. First off, attention. You have to actually be watching. Kind of obvious, but crucial. Second, retention. You have to be able to remember what you saw. Third, motor reproduction. You have to be physically able to do the thing you watched. And finally, you need motivation. You actually have to want to do it. If any one of those 4 links is broken, the learning just doesn't happen. I mean, this is huge. This is literally how culture gets passed down. It's how you learn the unwritten rules of a new workplace, how kids learn to share or not share. The saying monkey see, monkey do is a cliché for a reason. It's a profoundly powerful engine for human learning. So let's recap. We've got automatic learning, learning from consequences, and learning by watching. But what if I told you that your brain is learning things even when there's no reward, no punishment, and no one to copy? That it's building knowledge in the background, just in case. This is where cognitive learning theories come into play. They say, hey, you can't just look at behavior. You have to look at what's going on inside the mind. Our thoughts, our beliefs, our mental maps of the world, all of that is critical to understanding how we learn. Okay, there's this fantastic experiment by Edward Tolman that just nails this idea. He had these rats in a maze. The first group got a cheese reward at the end, and no surprise, they got really good at the maze, really fast. The second group got no reward at all, and they just kind of wandered around aimlessly. But the third group, this is where it gets good. For 10 days, they got nothing. But on day 11, Tolman put cheese at the end. And guess what? The next day, they were solving the maze just as fast as the rats who'd been getting cheese all along. So get this, the rats had been learning the maze the whole time. They were building a mental map in their heads, but they just had zero motivation to show what they knew. This hidden knowledge is called latent learning, and you do this all the time. You learn the layout of a new neighborhood just by driving through it. You're not trying to, there's no reward, but that map is being built, ready for when you actually need it. So as we bring this all together, you might be wondering, which theory is the right one? And the answer is all of them. They aren't competing against each other. They're just different lenses to understand the incredibly complex and amazing process of how you learn and become who you are. It's like your brain has this amazing toolkit. It uses classical conditioning for those automatic gut feelings, operant conditioning to build useful habits, observational learning to pick up new skills from others, and latent learning to soak up information just by existing in the world. All of it working together makes your ability to learn your ultimate superpower. So I'll leave you with this thought. You now know the basic rules of the game. You have the playbook for how your mind learns. You see the power of associations, the power of consequences, and the power of observation. So the real question is, what are you going to do with it? What new habit will you decide to build, or which old one will you finally break?